Hello, model railroaders. Brian Page here. I apologize that it took me so long to get part 3 put together. I could give you reasons for this. The dog ate my script for the video. I got stuck at the railroad crossing and it was a really long train. A friend's dog buried my car in their backyard and I couldn't get home. I was kidnapped by aliens and I just got back. The dog ate my alarm clock. I forgot to get up. The line was really long at the coffee shop. I had to mow the lawn to avoid complaints from the HOA. I went fishing and the boat ran out of gas. I got stuck in an elevator. Someone pushed all the buttons. I got cornered in the backyard by a stray moose and I just got away. Well, all kidding aside, welcome to the Walthers Glacier Gravel Company build part 3. And we'll get started here in a second. We need to look at the instructions. So we're starting the next section. In this one, we are going to glue the concrete foundation pieces 6, 7, and 8 to the base, number 5. So I've already cleaned up these parts. I have the little wall pieces here, and let's get those glued together. Alright, it looks to me like these two go together this way. Do I need a magnet? I guess I could put one there just to hold them in place. See if I can get a decent corner here. And let's run some glue up that seam. Alright, and then we will let that dry for a second and get the other side put on. Alright, here goes the next wall. I think that it's a little flimsy still, but I think it'll stick. Now this piece has a weird raised line on it, which I'm assuming is for another part of the build to go on there. So it's going to be a little bit tricky trying to get a right angle corner, but that's okay because they're all going to glue down to this base anyway. So I'm just going to stick this on and hope for the best. May not be a perfect 90 degrees here, but I think it'll work. Alright, then I'm going to take this foundation base here and I'm going to slide it under these walls. There's lips on the bottom of these walls that glue to the base. So I think it should keep itself together pretty well there. And let's get some glue on the bottom of this. I'm making a big shadow on all my work here. Hope you can see this. Oopsie. Our wall is trying to escape. Get back there. Alright. I think I got it pretty well. Now for the next part of this section, it says that we are supposed to glue a splice piece to the bottom edge of the walls 9, 10, and 11, guided by the location lines. So what I found out here is these pieces that they're referring to, now this is number 10, the number 10 wall. When I cut this off the sprue, it was left with some rough edges, and I sanded the rough edges off. But what I found out, and I'm sure people know this already, but I'm going to tell you, this piece, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's corrugated. It's supposed to look like a corrugated metal wall. When I sanded it, it kind of filled in some of those little corrugated grooves, so I found out that just taking a wire brush here and going with the corrugation lines, it gets some of the sanding gunk out of those lines. So yeah, just a little something I figured out there. Anyway, got some more of those to do. So another interesting little tidbit here in the Walthers instructions is wall number 9. When I was looking for this part on the sprue, if I was to go by the printing on this wall, if you can see that, it says Walthers blah 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 blah, and it looks like a number 6. However, that is number 9, this wall right here. So yeah, that confused me for a minute. I was looking around for number 6 or number 9 and thought it was a 6. So yeah, anyway, I'm easily confused. Alright, so here's our 3 wall pieces all cleaned up mostly, and for this part, to put the splice pieces on these, I'm going to use the Model Master liquid cement. Yep. A little thicker, and yeah, it's a little easier to put these pieces on with this, I think. Yeah, it's getting away from me. Hopefully I didn't use too much there. Alrighty. Our little splice pieces. Now the next part, it says, is after gluing the splice pieces on, then it says to then glue the walls to the foundation pieces as shown, which is gluing these walls with that splice piece onto the top of this assembly. Now, ultimately, what's going to happen is this assembly is going to go, you know, the bunker from my last part, where these lines are here, this is going to fit onto the side of this. Now, I would prefer to put that on first and then worry about gluing the walls to the bottom part, but I said in the beginning I'm going to follow the Walthers instructions, so I'm going to do it the way they say. This is going to be very interesting. Alright, so here goes the first wall. I'm going to put me some glue on this splice piece here. I'm going to kind of slobber this on because it's going to be hidden. I don't want this falling apart on me. So, yeah. Now, see, the interesting thing, the reason I didn't want to do it in this order is because you got to be very careful to get the corner edges lined up with this foundation base piece. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of a interesting little thing here. Alright, so here we go with the next wall. I believe this is the right one. Wait a minute. Let me get my orientation here. Yeah. This one goes over here. So, here we go. Slobber some more glue on. There we go. You know, I've heard rumors that they're not going to make this Model Masters glue anymore. I hope that's not true. I suppose I could just use the Testors equivalent, but which this is made by them, right? I think. But anyway, yeah, this is sweet stuff, Model Master. I still like my extra thin cement the best, but this stuff works out for the bigger items really well. Now I have noticed a little problem here with following the Walthers directions on this part. There's a thickness difference between these panels and the panels on the base here. And let me get that more into frame here. Sorry about that. Yeah, these panels are a different thickness. So these splice pieces are having a little bit of trouble grabbing onto the bottom base piece. But we'll get it worked out. It's not a big deal. It's just one of those little nagging annoyances. I ended up chalking this wall a little bit. It was trying to force itself off of the seam here in the corner. Yep, all I've got left now, I don't know if this is fully set up, but I think it'll stick together. Yeah. I think it'll be okay. This is going to be tough to see, but I'm going to stick this other wall in here. Maybe I could do it the other way around. Guess I could do it that way. Yeah, it's really not going to work really well. I can't get to it. Yeah, this part's going to be tough to see, but this wall goes in there. So I will do that. Well, with some finagling, I got the last wall on. Another thing I noticed here is you got to be careful with these spliced walls in here. On the outside, they have a tendency to pull up and make this gap too wide, so I had to push these together to try to reduce the gap here. I guess that's one thing I forgot to look for while I was gluing it in the jig. But I think we're doing okay. It's pretty even. Gaps aren't too bad, so I'm going to let that set up. Now, something that I've noticed here, in the directions it says that this assembly, which is this, is going to glue against the concrete bunker here. I think I mentioned this before. In typical Walthers fashion, when you get done with all this, now mind you, I am following the directions. There's these glue lines here where this assembly fits on. And guess what? It's wider than the opening of this structure. So I'm going to have to spread these a little bit to get this glued on in the right spot. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really yeah, the glue line here is bigger than the width of this opening. So I'm going to have to spread this out a little bit just to get this thing glued on to the side of the bunker. So as soon as this sets up a little bit, we'll work on that next. Yeah, so in order to compensate for this not fitting on here very well, what I did was let's take that out for a second. I ran my knife back down the seams here a little bit to break off some of the glue on the walls, and that's going to allow me to spread these outward a little, and I'm hoping that that will allow me to get this put onto the wall, and it looks like it's working basically. Wow, that's a tight fit. There we go, right there. What I'm most interested in is getting this flat on the bottom, you know, making sure that it's at the same level. So this is going to be a three-handed job, so I'm going to, well, let me try this. I'm going to stick some glue up the corners here and see if I can get this put into position. I don't know if I hit the right spot with the glue, but anyhow, let's see what happens here. I noticed that I'm a little off on the bottom. I'm going to have to push this in. I may have to clamp this. So anyway, that's a start. Getting this thing put together. Yeah, so what I've done here is I've used a clamp improperly. I've kind of got it. I've got the bottom pad on the wall of the bunker, but I've got kind of an indentation in the clamp here that's holding this part of the base together, and it's kind of helping it stick together. You can see though, I think, down here in the corners, over here and over here, that they're spread out trying to get to the glue lines on these walls, right? So it is, I don't know, I don't know what the deal is here. I mean, I can't believe that that was so poorly laid out, but you can't have those lines showing, so yeah, got to do it. I don't know what that's going to do to the structure back here when I put on whatever goes there. I think it's just a stairway, so I think it's going to be okay. I think there's just a stairway, a platform, a little porch, and a stairway coming down here. So I think it'll be okay. All right, so that's about the best I could do with this thing. I've got the two pieces put together. So I guess the idea here is that we take this. Now it says in the instructions this doesn't have to be glued on, but this will be sitting over one of the track entrances, kind of like that. So anyway, in the interest of getting this video published, I'm going to stop here. So we are going to go into a part 4. So that was this section here. Now the next section of these instructions, if you can see this, all this top part is next, and that's why I'm going to go into a part 4. Don't know how long that's going to take me. So anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, your comments, thumbs up, subscriptions are appreciated, and I will see you at the next stop.